This is episode 79, What the Sheikh of Dubai Taught Me. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/BlakeMallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me. So I'm going to warn you up front. I am on an energetic high right now, like buzzing, cloud nine, whole new level, coming off spending this past week out in Dubai. How many of you have ever been to Dubai before? If you've been, you know. If you haven't been, by the time I'm done with our conversation, you're going to want to add it to your list, I am sure. But was out there for the last week, got invited by some of our fellow rock star entrepreneurs, Fabio Bellini, Francesco Comito, and the Italian leadership team that hosted a mastermind event in Dubai. We had over 200 people from Italy and other parts of Europe fly into Dubai to spend the weekend elevating one another. And special shout out for the invitation to join you guys. It was an absolute experience. So thank you for that. And just an outrageous experience all around. Yes, within the mastermind and getting a chance to connect with so many amazing souls and entrepreneurs and leaders, and an experience that we wrapped around. Some of you might have saw some of the photos or videos on my social. But beyond the experience in the mastermind, which I knew would be at a whole new level, I did not anticipate the feeling I was going to have and the experience I was going to have being in the physical destination of Dubai. And I want to talk with you about some of that experience. And really, if I were to summarize it in one word, the word that I have coming to me, coming off my past week, the word has to be vision. Vision. An absolute worldly example of the power and implementation of vision. And I want to talk about how that relates, to the place, but obviously to us as individuals here with y'all today. Vision. So I didn't know much about Dubai. I really didn't. I mean, I've heard obviously some amazing things from people I know that have been, but I can't say I ever took the time to really do research or diligence or get to fully understand. And I just kind of hopped on a plane without any expectation. Excited, but no expectation, not really knowing what I was going to walk into. And I think what's most interesting for those of you guys that maybe, don't have as much of the information like I did, is just how new all of Dubai really is. Matter of fact, the majority of the entire city, and yes, Dubai is a city, not a country, but it's obviously in the UAE. And the entire city is less than 30 years old. And when I say like the entire city, I mean like virtually everything there is 30 years or newer, which is totally crazy if you just think about that. I know most of you watching this are probably over 30 or close to 30, and you have an entire exploding, booming spectacle of a city that in its entirety is younger than myself and most of us. And it's crazy to think about really how far it's come in such a short time frame. And it comes down to that concept of vision. And vision, I'm sure, of a community of individuals, but really starting with the royalty in Dubai. So Dubai is run by a royal family. The king of Dubai, they call the Sheikh, who really had a vision way before its time to create a international city unlike anything else in the world. When I was spending some time with some of the locals, they told me a story of how a long while back, when before there was really anything, the Sheikh said, well, if we're going to be an international destination, a place where everybody in the world wants to come, we need a world-class port. A port obviously being a place where all of the boats and ships can come in and bring goods from all around the world. I'm at the top. Woo! Clear skies today. Santa Monica to Malibu. I'm gonna take a seat with y'all. And the way the story goes is the Sheikh was sitting down with, the people designing the port, and they came and showed him the plans and laid out this magnificent world-class port right next to, at the time, was the small, starting city of Dubai, which only consisted of a few kind of structures in one location. And obviously they put the port, right next to the location. And the Sheikh said, amazing port. I love the design, love the ideas, but we can't put it right here. And he moved his pen off the map miles and miles and miles and miles and miles into the distance at the time that was only a stretch of complete desert sand, and said, let's put the port way out here. And obviously the engineers and the designers and the architects are like, why would we do that? Have a port so far away from, where everything is and where Dubai is, separated by all this desert. And to which the Sheikh said, well, we need to obviously have room for the expansion that we're about to do, in the years to come. And so they built the port at the time, a desert away. And now fast forward today, everything is filled in between with miraculous architecture and engineering and attraction. And you guys, that's why I talk about vision, right? A vision first of a leader, and then of a group or community of individuals. And that's just the story of the port, but that's an example that really radiates the culture and the community and the energy throughout both the people and the place of Dubai. I had a chance to get off and see some of the attractions. I sat underneath the Burj Khalifa, the single tallest building in the world, where you look up and you see that the top of the building stretches over a half a mile high straight up. And you sit down there and you marvel of just the engineering that it takes to create a structure like that, and sat right in front of it, and you can just feel the energy of the building looking up a half a mile high. I went over to the coast and checked out the Burj El Arab, which is the famous sail-shaped hotel that I'm sure many of you have seen and you would recognize in photos of Dubai, the white sail structure right there on the ocean, given the title of the only 7-star hotel in the world. Have you ever heard of a 7-star hotel? Which is crazy. There's rooms and a restaurant down below, surrounded 360 by a crazy aquarium. Every hotel room has its own private butler, and just the service levels to a extent that doesn't exist anywhere else. And sat in front of the only 7-star hotel. Went over to the JBR, a stretch of beach, which was the coolest beach I have ever been to in my life. And I've been to a lot of beaches, like literally the urban skyscrapers meet the sand, gorgeous water, every type of activity, water ski, jet ski, the water packs. You got people wake surfing and wakeboarding, hydrofoiling all in front of you, while there's never ending skydivers and parachutes coming in from above, surrounded by all of this architecture. And right in front a giant, what I would call an eye or a wheel. How many of you guys have ever been to the Eye in London, right? Which is a giant Ferris wheel. And there's a similar style right there on the JBR, except it's 1/3 larger even to the Eye in London, the single largest wheel that's almost complete and getting ready to open soon. And these are just some of the attractions, right, that I had a chance to visit, and many, many more. Every one of them, you got to understand the vision that it takes to step back and say, let's create something that's never been created. Let's figure out, right, how to make it possible. Let's construct it and create this spectacle, right, in areas that have nothing else around them, but knowing that once you create the attraction, the community will be built and the people will come. And that seems to be the pattern that I recognize in Dubai. Is everywhere you look, there's a spectacle of human innovation that was built at a time in that area there was nothing. That now, because of the vision and the implementation of that vision, creates areas that attract people from all over the world. You know, I was at a hotel and I Google mapped the location I was at to see, and I freaked out because I saw that I was on a man-made island designed as a palm tree, literally a palm tree of an island that I was sitting on. Some of you guys have probably seen this from above, and just sat there and marveled at how did they even create that? How many trucks of sand had to come in from the desert to create a palm tree-shaped island that now has all these amazing attractions and the Atlantis palm, right? A whole new level of experience up there. And I can continue to go on, guys. But the theme through all of it is a vision, right? 30 years ago, there was nothing but sand and a vision. You know, I drove past the museum and had a conversation like, what's in the museum, right? Dubai is not even 30 years old, some of it 20 years old. I mean, half the city is not even 10 years old. The rate of building is, you know, ridiculous right now. Like, but it's new. Like, what do they have in the museum? No. The Museum of Dubai is not a museum of the past. The Museum of Dubai is a museum of the future. And you literally can go into this museum and it's not about the history or heritage of the city because the city is all brand new. It's about the vision or the future of the city and where the city is going, with a vision to be the city of the future. You know, I had a chance to talk with some of the local influencers and some of the local associations, and you know, they told me some of the, you know, initiatives that the ministry is putting on, and some of the newest ministers, the government, right? Newest ministries the government has started was the Ministry of Youth. And there's a Minister of Youth. And the Sheikh said, look, the Ministry of Youth cannot be older than 27 years old. So the youngest minister, right, in history, leading the Ministry of Youth in Dubai. There's a Minister of Happiness and a whole ministry designed, dedicated to the happiness of the community, to give you a level of thinking that's happening right in this city. And that's why it's growing the way that it's growing. 10 million people right in the city of Dubai now. Only 1.5 million-ish are from there, which means all the rest are expats, people from all around the world that have gravitated to live there and help it grow. And that's just the people that are there. But obviously 100 to 150 million people a year is what it's set up for right now. Infrastructure-wise, in terms of tourism, attracting people from all over because of one word, and that word is vision. Vision. A vision. And you guys, it's impossible to be in that proximity, right, that physical location, and not expand a vision. Everywhere you're looking up. It's impossible not to have an elevated vision when you're in a place where everywhere you look is up. Examples of what's possible. And you guys, I left there inspired, yeah, by the place, but inspired about having a vision and the power of a vision, and the power a vision can have in your own life, and a power a vision can have on the lives of the people around you. And to an even larger extent, the power of vision can have, guys, on an entire community or on a city or on the world, all because of that word vision. And I guess my conversation I want to have to myself, right, in front of all of you, but to all of you and with all of you today is, what is our vision? What is the vision we have right now for ourselves? What is the vision that we are moving toward? What is the vision we have for our own life, right? If everything that I just said and more is possible in the last 20, 30 years, right, because of what started as a single individual's vision. He's 70 years old today, which means most of this he had the vision at 40 years old or younger, right, laying this out. And if one person's vision can accomplish all of that, who's to say that we can't have a vision that moves us forward? So you guys, when I talk about vision, there's three things that come to mind, three things that I learn just thinking about the vision of the city, but also applying it to the vision of our lives. I think a good vision has to do three things for us, right? Number one, a good vision has to inspire you. You have to have a vision of your life that truly inspires you. And if you break down that word, deconstruct that word inspire, like what inspires us, in order to be inspired or inspiring, we have to have a vision of something that expands our own paradigm of what's possible. We're not inspired by something that has been done and is continuously done. We're inspired by something that stretches us outside our comfort zone, that expands our paradigm of what is possible for ourselves. Inspiration, guys, comes from stretching our own expectation. That's what inspires us. We have to have a vision that expands us and inspires us to move beyond the limitations maybe we're operating within today. The second thing a vision has to do is, yes, it has to inspire us, but number two, it has to excite us. A vision has to excite you, and I mean a real, genuine excitement and enthusiasm. You know, one of my favorite mentors and teachers, the legendary coach John Wooden. You guys know Coach Wooden and his legendary pyramid of success that has all the blocks that make up a quote-unquote a successful life, but he puts one of the foundational blocks, the cornerstone blocks, enthusiasm. You guys, I think enthusiasm or excitement, right, has to be what life is about. Excitement at its core, that's what makes you feel alive. We talk a lot about feeling alive, not just being alive, but feeling alive, which means you have to have an energy of real, pure, authentic excitement in what you're doing. And that vision has to really excite you. You know, in some of our past conversations and walk with me's, we've talked recently a lot about kind of the stuck cycle. We've talked a lot about how people gravitate to a home state because of familiarity. You know, I'll tell you, one of my personal goals, right, and intentions for this year in 2021 is to make my home state of feeling or emotion excitement. Because to me, I can't think of a better home state than to be genuinely excited and enthusiastic about what's going on in your life as your natural home state of feeling or state of emotion. You guys, and to do that, you got to have a vision. You got to have a vision that genuinely excites you. You don't have to be doing backflips over where you're at today. You do have to be authentically excited about where you want to go, about what the future holds. You guys, the next chapter is always the best chapter. You're moving toward, right, what is meant to be. The future, right, the best is yet to come. You have to have a genuine excitement that moves you. It has to excite you. So a vision has to inspire you. A vision has to excite you. And lastly, the third thing, a vision has to move you. Because if you're inspired in a direction, you're excited, you have the energy, right? Lastly, it has to move you, right? In a direction, into action, right? Forward, progress, growth, movement. And you guys, a good vision doesn't just move you, but when you start moving toward a vision, what ends up happening is that energy becomes electric. It becomes magnetic. You begin to attract, and you moving begins to move others. And a big vision, guys, doesn't just move a single person, but the movement of you as a single person can move the people around you and can move the people around them. You guys, that's the power of a vision. Just like you can start from a desert of sand, of nothingness. And in a matter of a few decades that go by just like that, have a city that's becoming a example for the world of what's possible. You guys, if that's possible, what's possible in your own life? What can you move toward every single day? What vision are you designing for yourself? It's not about where you've come from. That's set the foundation, that's giving you a core, that's giving you some lessons, some things to be grateful for, that's made you who you are today, you guys, but it's about where you're going, who you're becoming, what you're creating. And you guys, that starts with a clear vision in your mind of what that looks like for you. So my question for all of you all today is, what's your vision? And is it big enough, right? And do you have a vision that inspires you? Do you have a vision that excites you? And do you have a vision that moves you? Because if you have a vision that accomplishes all those three things, guys, the impossible becomes possible. And where you can be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, guys, as milestones, quantum leaps from where you are today, but it all starts with seeing it, right, before creating it. So there's some inspired thoughts from y'all from Dubai. And hey, if you haven't been out there, add it to the list. It's an amazing city. If you have been out there, you know what I mean. And I hope today's message resonated with you. Until the next time we walk together, I hope all of you are safe. I hope all of you are sane. I hope all of you are healthy. And I hope all of you, right, expand your vision of what's possible in your own life and find something that truly inspires, excites, and moves you every single day. Until next time, take care, everybody. Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you. And I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.